Hello everybody, this is Worst Nightmare. I wanted to show you my current favorite build in Path of Exile 2. If you don't know, Path of Exile 2 is a game made by Grinding Gear Games, the same ones that brought you Path of Exile 1, the free-to-play game that is just like Diablo 2, only more complex, more amazing, and blows Diablo 4 out of the water. Now in Path of Exile 2, the graphics have gotten better, the gameplay is smoother, and the craziness isn't quite as much as Path of Exile 1. However, it does get quite nuts, and everything is still absolutely amazing and complex. This build, the Ranger converted to Deadeye in the Ascendancy using Lightning Arrow, is currently the best build I have ever used. With this build, I am able to clear the maps in a way I've never been able to before. I'm currently in the process of attempting to get a better gear setup, and that requires in-game currencies. You can buy gear from the market in the game. However, with my current gear right now, it's still my favorite character that I've ever played in the game. The idea is when you reach the end of the game, you want a character that can fly through maps, get money to drop, so you can get rich, so you can actually do one of the builds, perhaps with another character, that only works if you spend a ton of money in it. Because there are jewels in the game and equipment that are very expensive, and some builds, they are absolutely amazing, like the Hammer Titan, but you cannot get them to work without having a lot of money in the game. And if you try to switch to them without those exact items that you need, it ends up falling short and being something not so good. So this is a very budget-friendly build as well, which is good. If you're new, you can go right into this with starting with 0 currency. Now, in order to play this game right now, even though it is going to be free when it comes out, because it's in beta, you just have to buy your beta pass package, which is $30 American. Once you buy that, you can play the game as much as you want, and you don't have to spend another penny. You can, however, spend money on cosmetics to make your character look different and such. Like, change the helmet into something else if you want. I actually currently like just using what my character wears, because as I change the gear, I can see the difference, and it kind of adds a little layer to the game. Now, before I go ahead and explain the build, I want to show it to you first. So here's the action.
Fury!
Now we're coming up to the boss on this map, so hopefully I don't die and look really bad. Now, I have builds that kill bosses instantaneously. However, those builds also take longer to clear the maps and can get more dangerous during the map clears. But they can absolutely take out this boss in one moment. Such as the Invoker that I'm using that does Flicker Strike to immediately kill a boss. And it's fun to play that way. But while you're out there in the dungeon, clearing stuff quickly and then being able to make money fast feels like the right way to go. When there's so much currency that you need at the end of the game, you really need a build to get that currency, and this, to me, is definitely that build. Now, for the explanation. There's going to be a lot of things I explain, so if you want to get the Mobalytics link for the build, all you have to do is just Google Deadeye Lightning Arrow, and you'll see a bunch of variations of it pop up. The one that I started with before I made slight changes doesn't quite give you all the information, but the name that pops up on the build, Cade Games 2, is the one who I click the button for the Mobalytics in, and in Mobalytics, it's listed as Lightning Arrow Deadeye Build. That's simple. So you look up Lightning Arrow Deadeye Build, Mobalytics will pop up, and there you can go ahead and adjust everything. And it isn't an actual leveling guide, it's for the end, so make sure you just level your character up first before you try to attempt to do the switch over. Okay, here we go. My character statistics. I would obviously like my survivability to be higher, but currently, this is where I'm at. I've got 2,000 life and 1,610 energy shield, effectively making me have the ability to take a hit that could hit me for 3,610 damage. 647 magic, prefer it to be a little higher, but I lost a little bit for a +1 to projectile skills, which increased my damage a nice chunk. 212 on the spirit, because I do have spirit on my chest piece and on my necklace. You have 100 at the end of the game with the base, so I'm getting 112 from the chest and the necklace. I am using all of it, so I recommend going for at least that. I only have 5% armor reduction, not really focusing on that, but I am focusing on evasion, and it's at 48%. That's not too bad when you combine that with energy shield. You can have your evasion 70, even 80%, but then you're not focusing on energy shield at all, and it ends up being hardly anything, if nothing at all. So it's kind of a mix between the two. There's also something called deflection in the game. Deflection is based off of basically when you get hit by an enemy, it's a possibility that you deflect the damage. Deflecting damage is kind of similar to what armor does for you. It reduces the damage you get hit by. So I have a 43% chance of deflecting 40% damage. So it's kind of like 43% of the time they break through my 48% evasion, I will take 45% less damage if you add that armor in there. My resistances are capped out and a little bit above cap in case I get penetrated, no pun intended, or I enter a map where they reduce my resistances. I'm not like absolutely going too low, so I don't like them at 75. I have them all a little bit above, 97, 86, 91, 86. Chaos can be right at 75, no problem. Now, as far as passive tree goes, I'm going to go through the tree. Some of the things I did here, I did because there was a requirement involving my dexterity, intelligence, and strength, and I needed to meet that requirement. So I made the adjustments according to my stats that I needed, but also to try to keep in line with the power and the build itself. So coming out right out the gate, you're going to grab your projectile damage, and you go into the second line down to grab my projectile damage, grab Hone Instincts, then come down and grab yourself Vile Wounds, come down a little further, grab whatever stats you need in order to make your gear and skills work. Come down, you go up here and grab yourself Master Fletching. At the end, if you have enough points, you'll come in here and you'll grab Primal Sundering. That one you can wait until the end for. There's two things that are going to be at the very end if you don't have the points for. Then you come up here, grab your Escape Velocity, come in here and put a jewel in. My current jewel is minions deal 8% increased damage. A little bit later into the passage, I'll show you why anything that increased for minions also increased for me, which is good. So gems now can have minion increases, and that increases your stuff as well, because I'm riding a Roa when I run around. Also, 9% maximum energy shield, useful. Get that energy shield higher, and 5% attack damage, which is a pretty good jewel. Cost me a pretty penny. Now I'm going to go down here first. Coming down, you grab Catalysis, and then go down, grab whatever stats that you need, come over to the right and grab Exploit. Then come back to the left, grab the stats that you need, come down to the left here, and then go up and grab Damage and Companion Damage. This makes you stronger when you have a companion with you. Well, guess what? If you're riding on a Roa all the time, this is always active because you're on top of the Roa, and it's in the presence because it's right on top of you. So you don't have to worry about the size of your presence either, which is very good. So all these bonuses do apply for when you're riding the Roa. Coming down to the right here, grab whatever stats you need. Here's another jewel slot. There's a lot of options. They're recommending going with another jewel. Increases like your maximum energy shield and such, but they were very expensive, and the ones that increased movement speed, which were highly recommended, ended up being extremely expensive. I could not afford them. Even the one that only had movement speed on it was just unbelievably expensive, so I couldn't really go that direction. But this jewel I had from another character, and it's 30% extra fire damage on top of your damage, and then 30% damage is extra lightning damage on top of your damage. It's got some life regen on there and mana regen, which is useful. It's actually a pretty good Heart of the Well. Not perfect, but good on a budget. Coming over here into the movement speed section, we've got the Spring Hair. So 20% damage for enemies hitting you is unlucky, which means they roll, and if they're going to crit, it gets rolled twice. And if it doesn't crit on one of the two rolls, they don't crit. So it effectively halves the crit chance of an enemy on you, while at the same time, well, that's only 20% of it. While at the same time, 20% of your hits ends up being lucky, which means you roll the crit twice, 20% of the time. And if it crits on one of the two rolls, you crit. So 20% of the time, you get double your crit chance. Coming down here, you grab this Forces of Nature, and then coming to the left, grab yourself Flash Storm, and then branch off to the left here to Lightning Rod. Now coming back up here, we're going to head on down in this direction to the right, and we're going to go up and grab Maiming Strike. So you got a chance to maim on hit and some attack damage, and you're going to come in here and you grab the Wild Cat. That's some deflection rating equal 10% of evasion, 40% increased evasion while moving, and you're always moving. If you're not moving, you're getting yourself killed. Coming over here to the left, you've got Acceleration, increases your movement and skill speed. And then grab whatever stats you need. Again, come over to the right and go and grab Pierce the Heart. And then go over here, grab Feathered Fletching. Increases reduction projectile, also apply damage with bows. And then you're going to grab Coming Calamity. 40% increased cold fire and lightning damage, depending on what herald you're using. We are using Herald of Thunder. So my lightning damage, which is pretty much all I'm doing, is 40% increased lightning damage because of that. Now coming up here to the right, this is your companion damage. And now, this is a big one, Inspiring Ally. This is what makes it worth using the Roa. besides the fact that you could shoot and move like a mofo. Increases in reduction companion damage also apply to you. And that means gem, jewels, body armor, weapon, anything that has an increase or a reduction to companion stuff also works on you. That's actually quite a big deal. It opens up a whole pool of stuff that could save you money and make you stronger. All good things. Come over here, grab Quit Fingers, and grab the top and the bottom. And it's about firing additional arrows. You want as many of those as possible. Then you're going to come up here to the top, and you're going to grab Enhance Reflexes for survivability purposes. And you're going to grab Bestial Skin. You're going to put another jewel in here. This one I have Maximum Energy Shield at 20%. It's really good. We got Crit Chance, 5% increased Ignite Magnitude. I do have a lot of added fire damage, so sometimes, very rarely, I do Ignite. But also 22% increased Shock Duration. Enemies usually die too fast for that to matter, but it is helpful, especially a character that shocks all the time. Coming all the way up, grab the points that you need for your attributes and go into Spectral Ward. This one's actually pretty useful, +1 maximum energy shield for every 12 evasion on equipped body armor. So you just get a boost to your maximum energy shield from that. And then there's another jewel over here. You grab jewel slot. And this one's another +20 maximum energy shield and 15% critical damage bonus I have on this. I got 11% faster start energy shield recharge, and minions have 15% increased critical damage. So between the minion one and the other one, I've got actually 30% increased critical damage just from this one gem, which is very good. Okay, that is the passive skill tree. Oh, the Ascendancy. So coming down here into the Ascendancy, you're going to go up to the right, grab Mirage, Deadeye. You're going to go ahead in here and grab Point Blank, and then grab Endless Munitions. The Point Blank that I take out of the two options is the one that hurts the enemies before they move 3.5 meters, because everything's going to get hit and die really fast. You might as well have that damage on the enemies that you're killing instantly. The other one will work better if you're fighting bosses, but you can't just switch back and forth. So for map clear, I stick with this one. Coming down here, you're also going to grab Gathering Wind so you can have Tailwind on skill use, which makes you faster, makes you shoot faster, and whatnot. So now into the skills. Mirage Deadeye was given to us by the Ascendancy. In Mirage Deadeye, we have Stormcaller Arrow, and you mix that with Static Shocks, and you have amazing additional AoE for when you're clearing the abysses, and you got like an insane amount of enemies on the screen, 1,000 enemies on the screen at a time. These two things are absolutely amazing. Make it happen faster, shoots faster with rapid attacks too. We got cooldown recovery too, so you can get your Mirage Deadeye back faster. And we have Magnify Area just to make it bigger, hit more enemies. Now coming down here on your main ability, we have Lightning Arrow, adding rapid attacks too to make you shoot faster with Element Armaments 2. Which is 25% more damage. Charged shots 2. 1 in every 3 shots is charged. A charged shot gains 60% of damage to extra lightning damage. That's 1 in every 3 times you shoot. You get 60% as extra lightning damage. That's insanely big. That's why shooting fast is very important. Stoicism 2. Supported skills gain 2% more damage every second, up to 20%. The damage does reset if you dodge roll or use a travel skill. But since we're on the Roa, we're actually never dodging, hardly ever. And we're not using any traveling skills. So this actually stays at 20% more damage pretty much to the whole map. And hopefully pretty much on the boss as well. Now we also have Innervate. Attacks gain 25% damage as lightning damage for 5 seconds on killing a shocked enemy, which you do all the time. 25% extra damage is very, very good rather than just 25% lightning damage. So we have down here, and this is also on every ability you use, we have Lightning Rod. This is how you actually burn bosses. I'm still kind of learning how to use it. Now, in order to get 10 lightning rods out, which is the maximum amount that I can have out, maximum 10 active arrows, I have to fire the button 4 times. 3 times, 9 of them go on the ground. And then 1 more for that 10th one. So I would have to fire this 4 times at the boss, and then cast the other things, and then you go ahead and spam your lightning arrow. And that's how you actually burn a boss down, but I'm still learning how to do it correctly without making any mistakes and my brain gets the jitters because I'm still new at the build and stuff on how to do it perfectly. Now we also have Elemental Armaments 2 on that, give it more 25% more damage. Lightning Attunement, this gains 25% of damage, extra lightning damage, but you do less in cold and fire with it. And we also have Concentrated Area. It makes them smaller, but it increases the area damage by 30%, which is just increasing damage by 30%. Stoicism 2, same thing is up there, 20% more damage, always active because you're always on your Roa and you're not dodging or traveling. And then we have Deliberation. When you cast this, there's a movement speed penalty, 30% more, but you do 20% more damage. Now here's the thing, because you're on the Roa, you do not have any movement speed penalty for Lightning Arrow or Lightning Rod, or actually anything that you cast. I've actually played a different build where I use Ice Shot and I'm on the Roa. And the Ice Shot abilities actually do slow you down a little bit, but the lightning arrows do not. You are absolutely moving without any delays or slowdowns, casting any one of the abilities that you have on this character. Next, it's important for bosses, is Voltaic Mark. What this does is allows electrocution build up and gain additional damage as well. And this works good because it's like a separate, different stun on the boss, separate from normal stunning. And the boss will just stay there, be shocked, once you beat him up if you build up the electricity enough. So you want to make sure this is always on the enemy. The duration is 8 seconds. So make sure every 8 seconds you recast it if he's being a bastard or earlier. Mark of Siphoning is the support gem I have here. And you leech mana when this is on the enemy. So this helps because you're going to have no enemies on bosses that you're going to kill to get your magic back from like your leeching on your gear. So this is how you don't lose your magic on the boss. Very important. We have Charged Mark. So the trigger charged mark with this. And what that does is create shocked ground and the shocked ground duration. We have prolonged duration, so when you cast this, it lasts a little bit longer. We have efficiency, so it costs less when you push the button. Next, we have Herald of Thunder, always active. I've got Elemental Focus on this, because Herald of Thunder is not going to do any shocks or electrocutes or anything, so just 25% more damage. We've got Long Shot 2. The further away something is, when it gets hit by our shocks, the more damage, up to 35% more attack damage from 7 meters away. You're hitting things off the screen all the time, and this is going off all the time, so this is very strong. Lightning Attunement, 25% is extra lightning damage but less cold and fire damage. We have Deadly Herald, 30% more damage on this specific skill. And then Magnify Area just to make the bolts a little bigger and hit more enemies around the enemy being hit by it. Now we have the Roa mount, man's best friend. Meat Shield 2. This is going to make the Roa do less damage, but take 40% less damage. It's useful for not getting knocked off the Roa. Your Roa is not being used to hurt enemies, so this is absolutely perfect for this particular companion. We also have Elemental Army. That gives the Roa 30% increase to all resistances. We have Loyalty. 10% damage from hits taken by the Roa is taken by it before you, and they have less life though. But this actually only applies, I think, if you're off of it, but it might actually be when you're on it as well. I know you actually, I'm not sure if you take less damage when you're on it though. But if you ever get off of it or get knocked off of it or have to dodge roll, this will help you survive a little bit. We have Clarity 1 on this one, which is giving me 30% increased mana regeneration, which is actually pretty important for my character right now. Tornado Shot. I find that most of the time I don't actually have to push this, but when you mix it in conjunction with everything else, it absolutely does add damage. Absolutely. It takes your arrows, it flings them out, it adds damage, it adds arrows, it adds AoE, it absolutely kills Abyssals in an amazing way if I remember to cast it, or if I even feel like I need it, because the character is so strong without it. It's just there as an extra oomph if you need it. Also, the tornadoes themselves can actually be electrified and turn blue, and then it's just it's all gravy from there. Then we have Prolonged Duration 2. We want them to last longer. We have Overabundance 2. There's a +1 limit to it. They last a little bit less time, but it's so easy to cast it. It costs hardly anything. It's not a problem to recast them. so fast. Efficiency 2, make it cost less when you hit the button. Concentrated area, which makes them stronger, but makes them smaller. Totally worth it, 30% strength. We have physical mastery, +1 to this particular skill, which is another nice bonus there. I'm using Wind Dancer for survivability purposes, very important for the character. I wanted to hit the enemies around me even further, so I put magnified area 2. I got knockback on it, so it knocks enemies back, although I never see that happen. I usually just die when it goes off. Clarity 2, mixing that with Clarity 1, is giving me a total of 80% mana regeneration from those 2 gems. Blind 2, so when it does go off, it blinds the enemies, and 20% increased blind effect. And Maim. Even though I'm also maiming myself, just in case the enemy isn't maimed, which makes him do less damage, this will also maim when this goes off. That could be switched out for a life return, but this character very rarely ever loses life if it doesn't end up just getting popped and killed anyway, so it doesn't seem very useful. The reason why I took off Cannibalism is that. Lastly, we have Barrage. Very useful, can use any time it's off cooldown to just add to the clear speed of anything, and it just shoots twice whenever you shoot. So it's very, very cool, very awesome spell, very powerful. I've got cooldown recovery 2 in there to make sure I get it back quicker. I got efficiency, so it costs less when I push the button. I got perpetual charge. Sometimes when you push the button, it doesn't remove charges. However, I'm pretty sure that this might only apply if I actually had frenzy charges. So this might be able to be replaced, but there isn't really a lot more you can put on there. Since I'm not gathering any charges or worry about charges at all, I don't think this is doing anything for me, but that's okay. It's an extra spot. There wasn't really anything else to put there anyway. Heightened charges, so the benefits of consuming charges have 20% to be doubled. Again, I don't have any charges, so I'm not getting that out of it. Later, if I can figure out how to get myself some frenzy charges, this could be quite useful. These 2 gems, but they were empty slots on the build guide, so I just threw them in there thinking, oh, that maybe one day that'll work for me. Now we have Deliberation as well. It's the one where you get 20% more damage from it and 30% movement speed penalty, which doesn't happen when you push the button. Now I'm not 100% sure if this works, but if it does, when I hit the barrage button for that barrage shot, it's 20% more damage, and that sounds like it's really good. I'm sitting here with an extra skill slot as well, which I haven't figured out what to do with. I'm sure there's something that I can come up with that'll make this build even better, but you don't even need all your skill slots in order to do this build. As you can see, I have 2 spirit left because I'm taking advantage of every amount of spirit I possibly can. My Herald of Thunder, 50 with the additional supports. My row is taking up 110 spirit, that bastard bird. And then we got 50 spirit on Wind Dancer, and Mirage Deadeye is always free, no matter what. So, okay, always free unless you put something in there that's a support that actually takes your stuff. All right, now let's go on to the gear. My gear is absolutely not the best. There's been some adjustments I had to make. For example, the evasion rating and the energy shield is quite low on this piece of gear, but in order to have fire resistance on it, and have deflection rating equal to 25% of evasion rating, and cold and chaos, and spirit, there just wasn't any chess pieces available with the money that I had to spend that were evasion 1500, energy shield 500. There just wasn't any available at all. So this is an upgrade that definitely could happen, but meeting my resistance caps is partly why I buy certain things. Also, how much money I have. So then we have our helmet here. Being specifically used to cap resistances on everything. I'm lucky I got a 19% rarity on there. Helps. Rarity in this game, when you stack it, that's how you make money. But how to stack rarity without reducing your character's effectiveness, survivability, and power, that's the trick. That's where the real money gets spent later on. So this one in particular is straight up energy shield, and that reason is our necklace allocates subterfuge mask. Now what this is right here. It's an ability that I can't get to without spending passive points I don't want to spend to get there. So I get it from doing something to the necklace that gives you this. This gives you 2 evasion rating per 1 energy shield on your equipped helmet. So now your equipped helmet, you want it to be full energy shield. It ends up being more than getting a helmet that has evasion and energy shield on it, just by having one with only energy shield. So that is a huge benefit for survivability. My necklace, necessary spirits on there, the 4714. It's got maximum energy shield on it, good for survivability. It doesn't have a lot of life, only 58, but at least that's something. The reason why I switched to this necklace, my other one had over 100 life, like 150 or something like that. I switched to this one because it had +1 to level all projectile skills. It's not a lot. That plus can go up to 2 or 3, which is ideal, but then it was into like hundreds of divines in order to get one like that. And I needed it to have fire resistance and lightning resistance on it, and it's just really hard to get everything exactly the way you need it. And this one just happened to be the best, so I took the hit and only got the +1 projectile. My other one also had max magic, which felt better. That's why I had to use both clarities to make up for that. Now, my ring, both my rings were being used for the character when I was the explosive grenade character. I have not changed them yet. And even though they are fire damage and increased fire damage, they're still very good for this build, but these are not ideal rings at all. Using it to meet the resistances, got the life on there, got fire damage, increased fire damage. This one also got fire damage to attacks, increased fire damage. Both rings are not made for the build, but they do help. It does make you stronger, it's just not perfect. Got all attributes on there. That actually allowed me to not have that on my necklace to make sure I got the +1 to level of all projectile skills instead. We got my gloves here. This is definitely able to have an upgrade. I got the deflection equal to 20% evasion on there. It's very important. 5 life per enemy hit is very useful in case you do take damage and you're spamming and you're killing everything. Your life goes right back up when your energy shield's down. 145 life is great on it. Fire damage on attacks, again, not perfect. I would want like physical or lightning. With the way that the build is, it would work out better since I'm getting bonuses in my passives for lightning. This is kind of a little bit off kilter. Also, I have a chaos resistance in here, and in consideration, I would want to take something off from somewhere and make up for that chaos resistance, and then I could put a rune in here that increases my attack speed. And I'll probably be able to do that if I lower my energy shield a little bit by taking out one of my increased armor and evasion and energy shields on this. I got an 18% I can remove from there, and that'll allow me to get 8% increased attack speed on here. I'll probably do that right now. On the boots, I was able to slap on an extra 5 movement speed, giving my boots 40% movement speed, which is very useful since you're not able to sprint when you're on your rower. Sprinting is very, very fast, so you want movement speed so you can move around, get out of everything, just run around the enemies, just fucking go ham and just shoot everything. It's amazing. Got the life on there, meeting the resistances, 120 threshold, wish that was 400. Reduced freeze duration is really good, very useful. Plus, because of this, I hardly ever get frozen. I haven't actually seen it happen yet. This character is like amazing at avoiding all the damage. I have one, releases you from a stun. I have one, releases you from being frozen. And I have one that gets rid of ignite. These are the 3 main things I'm using. I feel like they work for me very, very well. My potion is 29% of it is applied instantly, and it has an insane amount of extra charges. So it's got 12 hits on it. If I start taking damage, I feel like I'm going to die. I could just spam this button, and it will boost my health up immediately. I also am using a very special mana potion here that actually works as kind of like a mana regen, because you can't push the button on it. It never runs out of charges, and you get 64 mana every 2 seconds. So you're basically getting 32 mana a second on top of your mana regen that you have going on. Now, for the crown jewel of the build, which is Headhunter Heavy Belt, it works so good with this character, so good with this build, and these belts are not expensive at all anymore. They are very, very cheap, and what it does is, besides give you some stats, strength, and dexterity to make you meet your qualifications, and sometimes you can get like a maximum life on there, and this one also has, it's enchanted with 22 cold resistance, not an actual rune. All of that plays a part in me meeting the resistance caps that I needed. But here's the big deal. If you don't know about the Headhunter Heavy Belt, when you kill a rare monster, which they're constantly around in this game. I mean, there's like a dozen of them or more per map. For 60 whole seconds, you gain its modifiers. That's not one of its modifiers. You get all of its major modifiers. And this stacks. So if you kill 3 rares, you've got all 3 of those rares major modifiers. And it gets fucking crazy. The only time this feels a little wonky is when you get the thing that teleports you to the enemies. But this build is so great, you just continue firing, and as you're teleporting and running out from where you got teleported, you're just fucking destroying everything. It's absolutely amazing. So this is the build I've been doing. You go ahead and try it yourselves, and you'll see what I mean. This is the build that you want to get the money to get the other build you want, such as Titan Hammer, for example. That I think that, to me, is probably the best build in the game. You just have to have it near perfect in order for it to really work. There's a lot of attack speed required in order to get it to work, and there's a lot of very expensive jewels that you need to get it to work as well. Thank you for watching, everybody. This is Worst Nightmare, and this was the Ranger Deadeye Lightning Arrow build. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in a moment.